Hey, a new return, eh? Very fantastic, eh? And I think I've lost a good chunk of my viewers already. So much for a grand return, eh?
The filming Daniel.
Hey guys, it's Daniel here, and I'm back with a new review. Sorry for the hiatus again, but in a few days, it's going to be my 7th anniversary, And I've already got the 7th anniversary special done, and it's on YouTube, it's just waiting to be scheduled for that day. So, I thought I'd do a review today. And this is kind of a grand return, not only for me on YouTube, well, only a few weeks, but it's also my return to getting back to watching something current that's Marvel related, because I haven't been keeping up with everything in the Marvel Cinematic Universe lately, because there just hasn't been too much for me to really get into. I mean, there are many things post-Endgame that I like. I love No Way Home. I guess I liked Guardians 3. I had a blast with Deadpool and Wolverine from last year, but a lot of the time Marvel hasn't really been keeping me interested. However, I thought I'd do a review for the newest Marvel Cinematic Universe film to kickstart Phase 6. Man, we're already in Phase 6 already? Man, this is quite the time jump. So, today I'm going to be reviewing the introduction of a very well-known Marvel team from the comics, as well as the newest film that features these characters, The Fantastic Four: First Steps. So the premise of The Fantastic Four: First Steps follows, well, the Fantastic Four, including Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic, Sue Storm, aka Invisible Woman, Johnny Storm, aka Human Torch, and Ben Grimm, aka The Thing, who are a group of superheroes, or a family, I should say, of superheroes, who are basically protecting the universe that they live in. However, things start to go a little bit of a turn as a mysterious presence known as the Silver Surfer comes to Earth and warns the Fantastic Four that a big threat is on the horizon. That big threat being, well, literally a big threat, Galactus, who is known for destroying planets because he's so huge and he's on his way to this planet. So, the Fantastic Four have to try to figure out a way to stop Galactus' evil plan, as well as trying to welcome in the arrival of a brand new addition to the Four, in the form of Reed and Sue's baby. Now, I personally am not really kept up with a lot of things Fantastic Four related. Come think of it, I think this is the only Fantastic Four film I've seen. I've not seen the original films that had like Jessica Alba and Chris Evans, although I loved Chris Evans' cameo as Human Torch in Deadpool and Wolverine, that was funny. I also have not seen the controversial Four Stick from 10 years ago. And considering from what I've heard of it, I probably never will. Which is a shame because Michael B. Jordan's in that movie, and Miles Teller from Whiplash, but, I'm not going to see it. And then when I heard the Fantastic Four was coming into this universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with Pedro Pascal and Joseph Quinn joining the cast, along with Vanessa Kirby, I was like, okay, this is interesting. But then when I heard that they were introducing Galactus, I was definitely interested, because Galactus is, in my opinion, a very interesting character. I didn't really keep up with much about him, and I know he was shown in like a previous Fantastic Four movie, but it wasn't that great. But I always thought of him as probably the next endgame threat, and I have played against Galactus in that little Fortnite chapter where a lot of buses have to go up against Galactus, which was really fun. I don't think we're getting him as the endgame threat, because it's already been announced that Robert Downey Jr. will be playing Doctor Doom, which, okay, wow, they're bringing Robert Downey Jr. back to the MCU, but it was still interesting to see Galactus in the MCU regardless. So, I finally watched the Fantastic Four movie that just came out, and what do I think of it? I really enjoyed it! I really enjoyed this movie! Is it the best MCU movie ever? No. This film definitely is not as interesting as other MCU movies, but I still think that compared to a lot of current Marvel things, I definitely think that this is an MCU movie that I really liked. I mean, I haven't seen Captain America Brave New World, at least I think that's what it's called, or Thunderbolts yet, but I really enjoyed the Fantastic Four First Steps. Hands down, the best thing about this film, in my opinion, were the performances. Pedro Pascal is having one hell of a year with like this year and last year, because he literally he's everywhere. He's like in so many projects, and yeah, I can understand people saying that's kind of like the reused actor syndrome, where pretty much the same actor is in everything and you could just only see him as that actor. But I think he's a great actor from what I've seen of him. I remember seeing him in Mandalorian. I thought he was fantastic as Joel in The Last of Us. And in this film, I actually really liked his performance as Mr. Fantastic. I mean, yes, I can see Pedro Pascal with like the mustache and his current look, but that's not a problem at all, because he's so captivating and charming to watch as an actor, and very charming in real life. But his performance as Mr. Fantastic is really good, because he does have some charisma, he does have a little bit of like annoyance whenever something goes wrong, but we can tell that first and foremost, his job as a hero is really being challenged by the care and love that he has for his family, and he wants to protect them. And whenever something threatens his family or threatens the Earth, he always tries to think of like the best decision to have, even if it causes a bit of conflict with his wife. And speaking of which, I also thought Vanessa Kirby did a fantastic job as Sue Storm. And yeah, there is that little elephant in the room that Pedro and Vanessa seem to be getting pretty close in real life, and people were like, okay, this is kind of like a bit of, holding hands, and man, Pedro must have a lot of anxiety, and doesn't Vanessa have a boyfriend? And for me, I haven't really seen too much evidence. I mean, from what I've seen in the interviews, I think it's very adorable. It's a very adorable friendship, and I know a lot of people think, well, that kind of looks like a bit, they look like they're stepping the boundary, but I just saw it as a platonic friendship, and a very strong friendship as well. And plus, we do have to see their performances as a couple in this film, and I thought they had excellent chemistry with each other in the film, as they have to like question each other's like priorities, but also try to understand where the other person is coming from, and them working together as a couple is very adorable and very charming. I also had a blast watching Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm, aka Human Torch, because I know him from Stranger Things and A Quiet Place Day One, and again, I did not know he was British. I mean, he's not British in this film, but I'm just mentioning it because I mentioned it in my Day One Quiet Place review. But he has a lot of charisma, he has so many witty comeback lines, and I think he presented himself very well, but he also has an interesting story about seeing redemption and seeing the soft side of others, especially when he's interacting with Silver Surfer, played by Julia Garner, who I thought did a fantastic job as well. I also can't remember the guy who played The Thing, but I thought that guy was really good because he also had some charisma. He also has some like down-to-earth discipline moments where he has to like kind of not go too overboard with his like reputation of being the Thing, because, you know, he doesn't want to cause any kind of panic. And he has some great chemistry with Mr. Fantastic and the rest of the family. Although, come think of it, it is kind of hard to like unsee the resemblance he has to Smart Hulk from Avengers Endgame, but he was still really good regardless, and the visuals on him was actually quite interesting. It's an interesting take on it. But guys, let's talk about one of the things that I was very interested to see in this movie, and for the most part, they definitely lived it up. Ralph Ineson as Galactus was awesome, okay? This is definitely one scary motherfucker. I mean, he's awesome. Like, when you're in like a big room watching this movie, the entire room will pretty much just like be affected, and you could just hear like the tone of his voice whenever you hear the bass of his voice, you know. Because he's so big and he has a big presence. Oh, and I love it! And you could definitely feel the weight of the situation because he has such an ominous presence as a sized maniacal maniac, and you can really feel the desperate need of the Fantastic Four about what exactly they can do to stop him. And I think that he did a fantastic job. I won't give away too much about what he really looks like because, you know, we didn't see it in the trailers, but he was fantastic, and I thought Ralph did a fantastic job playing him. The only problem I have is I do wish we could have seen more of him because, well, I don't know what's going to happen in the future of the MCU, but I wish we could have seen more of him, and there's also a few things about his character that I wish we could have seen that was shown in like the original source material. But again, I won't give away too much, but I thought he was a very intimidating and menacing presence whenever we saw him on screen, and he was fantastic. I also really like the visual style of this movie because it kind of has like that kind of 60s kind of like old vibe where you have so many colours in the city, and it has like this kind of comic book style whenever you see like the rockets or the cars or the city landscapes. It just looked like something that was ripped right out of a comic book, and I thought that showing it in a different kind of universe was a really excellent choice, and I just felt like it had its own kind of style to it. I don't think we've seen really much, if at all, in any other Marvel movie. And the action sequences was fantastic as well. Whenever we see the Fantastic Four using their powers, whenever we see Reed Richards stretching himself, whenever we saw the Human Torch lighting himself on fire, the fire looked fantastic. I also really like the look of Silver Surfer because you can really tell that that was like almost realistic metal. I will say not everything in the visual effects was realistic, but for the most part they looked fantastic, and in my opinion, some of them not looking as realistic really fits into the comic aesthetic that this film has, which I really love. But I think one of the best things about the movie that I really admire, and it really reminded me so much of The Incredibles in a way, is the film definitely shares a good presentation of family bond between a family of superheroes, because they can argue like a family, they can make jokes with each other, they can really talk to each other and work things out like dramatically or relatable like as a family between, you know, Sue Storm and Mr. Fantastic, or like the kind of brotherly quippiness between Sue and Johnny, or the friendship between Ben and Reed. I thought that the way that they presented family interactions and family bond was really the most endearing part of this movie, and I think that that can definitely be like a really good movie to show the whole family, if they like superheroes or if they like action, but they can still have that kind of tenderness and sentiment to it, and I really liked it. Now, as much as I really got a blast out of this movie, I do have a couple problems with it. Well, first of all, I feel like the first 20 minutes of the movie wasn't as, like, captivating as I was originally thinking it was going to be. I mean, some parts of the first 20 minutes were kind of boring to watch, and I also feel like that them presenting themselves as the Fantastic Four right away, and showing, I guess, the backstory, but also in a very quick way, and then you just end up in the situation where they're already superheroes. It can work out well in films like The Batman. I just feel like that it kind of alienates people who are unaware of what the Fantastic Four is, and are just newcomers to the source material. So, maybe a bit of extra time could have gone into the origin story of the superheroes, or maybe the whole movie be the origin story, but we've already seen it quite a few times in the other Fantastic Four movies. Well, I haven't, because I haven't seen it, but I heard that the controversial Four Stick had an origin story, and that didn't turn out well, so maybe they're just trying to avoid the calamity. But I didn't have too much of a problem with it, it's just that I guess I just didn't find the first 20 minutes as engaging as the rest of the movie. But as soon as the Fantastic Four discover the conflict with Galactus, I thought that the movie definitely elevated from there. Also, again, I do wish Galactus was shown a bit more, because this is his first introduction into the MCU. Maybe, I don't know, what they're gonna exactly do, but without giving anything away, I feel like we didn't see much of him as I wanted to. And I also feel like we could have seen like some of the moments from the comics presented in this movie, because it kind of held back a bit of Galactus's potential a bit. But he was still great regardless. Another problem with this movie is that I feel like some of the story setups and story progressions in the movie seemed a bit jumbled, cluttered, clunky, and a bit unnecessary, because there's like a whole section in like the second third of this movie where the characters come up with a plan to stop Galactus, and it's like this big like 5 to 10 minute sequence of them completing this plan, and then by the end it kind of just goes downhill, the plan is ruined, it does nothing, and we're back to square one. And I just felt like, well, what was even the point of it? I mean, besides 1 or 2 moments that does actually further progress the story, I didn't feel like that whole section was necessary, and it kind of felt like a bit of a waste of time. But I gotta say, guys, besides those couple of problems, I had a blast watching the Fantastic Four First Steps, and I have to say, I wouldn't mind watching it again, and I'm very interested to see what other adventures they have in store for the characters that are in this movie in the future of the MCU, because we know that some of them have been announced to be in new Avengers movies, which, man, we're getting closer to the new Avengers movies. It only felt just yesterday the Avengers franchise ended in 2019 with Endgame, but I thought this movie was fantastic. Did I really just make that unintentionally? The movie was great, it had great performances, the family bond and morals definitely captivated me, the action's fantastic, the style is great, and there is a credit scene that does hint to the future of the Fantastic Four, so I thought it was great, and I'm going to give this movie a... oh god, don't hate me for this, a fantastic 4 out of 5. I can't escape them. I can't escape those puns. A 4 out of 5. It's a great movie, it's really good, and if you haven't seen it yet, I definitely would recommend checking it out. But anyway, guys, what do you think of the Fantastic Four First Steps? Do you love it? Do you hate it? And what is your favourite movie starring a family of superheroes? I mean, I can't remember if there's too many, because really you have to like look at this one, the other Fantastic Four movies, and the Incredibles movies, but just say which is your favourite. Let me know in the comment section below. I've got more videos to come, and I'm Daniel, reviewing movies, TV shows, and doing videos. Till then, peace out, man. Thank you.